Good morning. I am Ronald Mason, Jr., President of the University of the District of Columbia, the public institution of higher learning in and for our nation's capital. It is my pleasure to bring you greetings on behalf of our glorious UDC. Welcome to the Fall 2020 opening Convocation, where we begin the start of a new academic year and a new beginning. We acknowledge our 44th year as a university and thank you for joining us virtually. We celebrate the new academic year with a hybrid ceremony. Part is pre-recorded and part is being live streamed all over the world to our family and friends on the internet. Welcome to all of you. Please prepare yourselves for the singing of America the Beautiful, performed by the UDC Chorale. Our program will proceed as arranged. Please welcome the Reverend Dr. Aaron Wade, founder and pastor of the Community Church of DC, United Church of Christ, to deliver the invocation.
Good morning, all. I think before we give the invocation, I'm going to ask if we would just take a brief moment of silence to pay honor, homage to John Gordon, the late John Gordon, who was the Director of Communications at UDC. Let us take a moment. Amen. Let us pray. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who by Thy might lead us into the light, forever we pray. God, we come right now to say thank you for this opportunity to gather together, to celebrate, to commemorate, to call folk together. We thank you for your presence being with us, and we invite you to dispense upon us power to move forward, power to go higher, power to rise up like a phoenix. God, we thank you. Lord, we give you praise for all things. We thank you for this convocation that allows us to call people together. And God, in this call, we ask that you would give power to students to be able to excel beyond the perils that exist in these times. We ask that you give power to the teachers and the professors and the faculty to be able to look beyond the present day circumstances and to be able to excel in technology and help to advance the minds of our people. God, we ask that you would give power. We ask that you would give power to stand up, to speak truth to power in the face of situations that exist, the pandemics that exist in our midst today, God, from corona to racism, to all types of isms. God, give us the power to stand up so that we can bring about the beloved community, to call forth justice, to call forth love. Ultimately, God, through this institution, the University of the District of Columbia, that will empower and equip bright minds. God, I'm asking that the theme this year, UDC Rise Up, I'm asking that it permeates in every aspect of this university and in this convocation. I'm asking God right now that folk would rise up in every aspect of their lives, that they would rise up to be bright students, rise up to be great faculty, rise up to be the clarion call that we need in this District of Columbia, nation, and world. God, we thank you for this moment. Be with us. Speak to us and through us. It's in the one who set the captives free we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Hello there. My name is Christopher Bell, and I'm chair of the Board of Trustees for the University of the District of Columbia. On behalf of my fellow trustees, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this, our Fall 2020 Convocation. We are so very pleased that you are here and part of our Firebird Nation. Our nation is experiencing tremendous difficulties right now. The coronavirus is still a major issue, and we're contending with issues of social justice and racial inequities in our country. This is where you come in, UDC students. We need your brains, your energy, and your thought to help our country move forward. We know that you have the passion, the vision, the energy to help our country confront these challenges, and we know that you'll be able to move us into a better place. I'm so pleased that the university is going to play a role in shaping your education. So again, welcome. We look forward to having you here, and thank you for trusting us with your education. Take care.
Hi, my name is Shavar Henry, the student representative to the University of the District of Columbia's Board of Trustees. On behalf of the Firebird student population, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests, members of the board, President Mason, and the rest of our hardworking university administration. In a time like this, when the world is changing, it is important that we keep headstrong and focused while simultaneously changing with the times. It is paramount that we adjust ourselves for the change that is to come. Stay strong, stay safe, and keep burning like a firebird.
President Mason, Dr. Potter, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, student staff, and faculty, please respond in the chat in your native language or other mode of communication. Zhao Shanghao, buongiorno, good morning, guten morgen, bonjour, buenos dias, assalamu alaikum, good morning. As chair of the Faculty Senate, it is an honor and privilege to bring greetings on behalf of the heartbeat of the university, faculty. Faculty pumped grant funds into the university, $27 million last year, pumped marketable knowledge to students and other expertise to ensure efficient operations. We acknowledge new, tenured, promoted, retired faculty and celebrate the memory of UDC family members Dr. Marie Racine, Winston Thompson, Pat Chisley, John Gordon, John Thompson, and others. We celebrate faculty accomplishments of publications, presentations, new curriculum and programs, First Faculty Senate Conference, and we invite you to the Second Faculty Senate Conference, HBCU COVID-19 and Systemic Racism, on February 19th, 2021. Have a fabulous convocation and fall semester.
Rejoice Sometimes a man starts out in life with nothing. Nothing but his dreams to call his own. And as that man is forced to travel a path that leads to an uncertain destination, he must stand steady and steadfast through it all. He must find his place and his purpose. He must seek the truth for his people and for the good of all humanity. Well, Dr. Lawrence T. Potter found his place and he found his purpose. And to conceive the existence of his divine destiny, God touched his feet, planting them firmly on southern soil so that he might run with haste the race that was set before him. God touched his shoulders, making him strong enough to carry the weight of his people all the way from the hallowed halls of academia of Stillman College to the University of Missouri at Columbia. God touched his mind so that he might have the sense enough, the knowledge enough, and the nerve enough to stand in spirit and truth on his journey as a scholar who has always recognized that students are privileges and not problems. Yes, to conceive the existence of Dr. Lawrence T. Potter's divine destiny, God touched him and he began to move. And he moved, y'all, from his comfort zone to his calling. A calling that would take him from the sacred shores of South Africa to the historic hilltops of Hong Kong. Who is this Fulbright fellow, this Purdue postdoctorate professor? Who is this HBCU headmaster and this Ivy League intellect? Dr. Lawrence T. Potter. He is the personification of phenomenal, the mystification of majestic, the edification of excellence, the aggregation of astute, and the culmination of charisma. Administrator, educator, researcher, author, mentor, national and international scholar, community change agent. And while the list of who he is endless, my time is not. So I'll just end this introduction by saying, etc., etc., etc.
Good morning. To our Board of Trustees, President Mason, Executive Cabinet colleagues, Dean's Council, Administrative Council, faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends, and supporters. It's great to be here with you all on the onset of a new academic year, Fall Opening Convocation 2020. It seems like just yesterday, I was standing face-to-face in a packed student ballroom, delivering my first address to faculty and staff at the Faculty Professional Development Day in January 2019. My freshman year has flown by, and we have already passed several milestone moments in this 2020-2021 academic year. Transforming our campuses into low-risk, adaptable learning zones to accommodate 11% of courses that absolutely required in-person or hybrid learning, pivoting quickly to move the remaining 89% of our instruction to emergency remote learning, training, developing, and certifying 94% of our faculty cadre to be online teacher certified, onboarding and orienting 23 new tenure stream faculty members, inviting 8 new visiting professors to our campus, and many, many adjuncts to teach in our learning community. Partnering with Microsoft to produce teaching and learning opportunities for faculty to enhance the learning and digital literacy of all UDC students who are learning asynchronously and synchronously or in person. Placing new Surface Pro devices in the hands of 550 first-time and college students, and making an additional 150 Surface Pro devices available to full-time continuing students via a laptop loaner program who do not have devices. And today, we celebrate Convocation via a hybrid live stream, All these activities have yielded the accomplishments that are necessary to mark the beginning of a new academic year at the University of the District of Columbia. It's exciting and refreshing, a rebirth that we are experiencing virtually, as new cohorts of students, faculty, and staff are welcomed to Firebird Nation amidst a global, non-discriminatory, and unbiased pandemic known as COVID-19. I have been privileged to look in the eyes of these new arrivals via Microsoft Teams, WebEx, and Zoom mostly. Seeing their excitement is like a jolt of adrenaline, serving as a reminder of what a special place UDC is, a special place where we learn and work, a place full of ideas, knowledge, discovery, creativity, and possibilities, a place where lives are changed and potential is realized. Each year represents a fresh opportunity to make a difference. That is what we do, that is who we are, a learner-centered, discovery-driven, community-engaged, emerging research, land-grant, historically Black university in the nation's capital, the District of Columbia. We exist so that all may learn. Today's fall opening convocation provides an opportunity to learn and to laud the incredible work and accomplishments of faculty colleagues from across the university. As you will hear, this year we have an outstanding group of Faculty Excellence Awards recipients. We are in awe of your talents and appreciate the dedication and commitment each of you has made every day at UDC. You have each personified what it means to go above and beyond in your efforts. Because of you and other faculty like you, our students are a little wiser, our campus is a little richer, and our community a lot stronger. Today's formal recognition of your efforts and the administration of your peers and coworkers is so richly deserved. All I can say and add is thank you. On August the 17th, I shared with the faculty and academic leadership via Microsoft Teams Live that the state of our university was healthy, but that our past successes did not guarantee our future. We needed to re-examine what we do and how we operate continually, and we needed to come together around efforts to promote student success, diversify our funding, and become the university of choice for this region. You can now take the virtual tour online and see extraordinary evidence of what a difference a year makes. We have acquired Building 4250 on Connecticut Avenue. While significant, it is just the first step in reimagining and rethinking the future of our university. But make no mistake, the strides we have taken to become a higher education model of urban student success are more than just skin deep, more than just surface level. They touch nearly every aspect of this university, from our curriculum and the start of new academic programs to the burgeoning of restructured colleges and schools, to student and employee well-being, to our research enterprise, our budget model, university-wide marketing, financial aid, fundraising, partnerships, and many other areas. Everything we outline in the Equity Imperative, UDC's strategic roadmap. Taken together, our progression in the face of COVID-19 offers irrefutable evidence that our university is undergoing dramatic and dynamic change. These changes are made possible by faculty and staff working in every corner of our university. Together, in ways big and small, we have begun changing our reality and our destiny. We are on the move. Together, we have begun to write the next chapter in the University of the District of Columbia's storied history. Change and transitions are inevitable. It is vital for us as an organization to realize that even when things are going well, our current initiatives have been fully implemented, or when we feel good, or when we are at the pinnacle, that we resist the temptation to rest on our laurels. Continuous improvement, continuous questioning of what, how, and why we operate is vital to the future success of the university. It should not be unusual for a university, people who are scholars and creators, to always be thinking and looking for new ideas, new ways to do things, pushing the boundaries of our disciplines. As teachers, we are always looking at how to convey the material in a way that helps students think differently. Change is a part of who we are. Exploring boundaries is part of who we are. We need to make sure within our institution that we empower our greatest asset, our faculty and staff, to look over the horizon, to respond to change, to aim for the sky, especially given where our country and the world stand today. As the university's chief academic officer, I can say emphatically that our hearts are broken at the violence, discrimination, and hatred we have seen unfolding upon our screens and across our nation. While the events we have witnessed on the news in recent months, weeks, and days did not occur on our campus, they nonetheless strike at our hearts and in our conscience. There is much pain and suffering in our world and the uncertainty and tension that a global health crisis can engender. An individual's own confusion or fear does not excuse inflicting pain or suffering on others. We stand together as a community, disavowing all actions steeped in racism, xenophobia, homophobia, and any other version of hatred. These actions do not align with our values and have no place on our campuses. As a higher education institution, part of our responsibility is to create a space where people can engage and interact, free from fear of retribution or personal harm. At the University of the District of Columbia, we value diversity and inclusion in thought, in action, and every other aspect of humanity. And we strive to break down barriers and model the behaviors and responses we hope to see in the greater world. We believe that there is great power in education and learning when it comes to thwarting hate. That is why we are unwavering in our commitment to opening our doors to all people from all parts of the world, all backgrounds, and all beliefs. As a community of diverse individuals, we get to know each other. We interact and break down any preconceived notions we may have held. We move forward with open minds and open hearts about what is best about our humanity. People across our nation and our world have been ceaselessly raising their voices in protest to demonstrate the outrage at the senseless killing of George Floyd and to demand change in the forces and broken systems that led to his death. We have witnessed our very own President Mason, with support from members of our Board of Trustees, joined by students, faculty, staff, and community members, convene on Denard Plaza to kneel in protest against racial hatred and police brutality for 9 consecutive nights. UDC, Student Bar Association, and Black Law Students Association were among local DC organizers who planned marches against police brutality and social injustice as part of the Black Lives Matter movement. From the highest levels of leadership to our grassroots practice of training future lawyers to take a stand against acts of racism, protest and speaking up is embedded in our very DNA. Today, from this podium, I am calling for continued action against racism, xenophobia, homophobia, or any other version of hatred. Mr. Floyd's killing has once again thrust the ugly legacy of racism into our national news. It is simply an outrage that he died at the hands of those sworn to protect him. That incident, following upon the heels of the shooting of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and too many others to name, is a reminder of the scourge of racism still existing in this country, and its impact is all too real and pernicious. But make no mistake, it reaches beyond the law enforcement or criminal justice system. The COVID-19 crisis laid bare the racial dimension of health disparities across the country and right here in the District of Columbia. Quote, the disparity shows up not in terms of who gets diagnosed with the virus, but in who is dying from the disease. Black people make up 47% of the confirmed cases in the city, which tracks with their share of the population, but 80% of the people who have died from the coronavirus, according to DC Health data that is reported on their website. From healthcare to housing segregation, to poverty to school quality, to interactions with the criminal justice system, institutional racism persists and continues to hurt and even kill people of color. Enough is enough. As a university, we must press forward. We cannot rest or let this moment pass without trying to make genuine, lasting progress. To do so, we must shine a light on the ugly vestiges of hate. We have an individual and collective responsibility to demand justice for Mr. Floyd, to stand against hatred and discrimination in any form, and to work to end institutionalized racism so that everyone feels safe in their homes and on streets and can enjoy the full benefits of being a member of our society. Certainly, part of the solution is eliminating explicit and implicit bias in law enforcement and the judicial system. That will require a systematic look at nearly everything from officer selection and training to the new use of force patrols, improved community policing, and sentencing and judicial reform. Fortunately, there is evidence of what works and what does not work. We do not have a knowledge problem, we have lacked the will. As we shine the light on others, we also need to shine the light on ourselves and ask the questions. Have I done enough? Am I truly a part of the solution or the problem? What can UDC do better? We must be willing to listen to some of the hard truths from those who have experienced our university in very different ways. We must be open to re-examining everything from admissions to our educational programs to graduation and ask if there are systems, practices, and norms at UDC that we have in place that tacitly allow bias and unfair treatment for students, faculty, and staff. We must tear down the walls and become bridge builders. For the remainder of my speech today, I want to focus my remarks on the students who are listening. On this occasion, I am reminded of the words of two great African-American writers and intellectuals, Ralph Ellison and W.E.B. Du Bois. Speaking about the importance of education, Ellison once remarked, quote, "Education is all a matter of building bridges," end quote. The applicability of Ellison's statement today is more of a question to our students. What does this mean in the context of your life and the world? What lies ahead depends on the paths you take and on the bridges you will build. And each of you will be building a unique type of bridge, one that you may not yet be able to imagine. You will build bridges between cultures and peoples. You will forge new ways of seeing and saying, and you will build bridges to new ways of thinking and knowing. And as you build bridges, bear in mind the words of Du Bois, who said, quote, "The function of the university is not simply to teach breadwinning or to furnish teachers for the public schools or to be the center of polite society. It is, above all, to be the organ of that fine adjustment between real life and the growing knowledge of life, an adjustment which forms the secret of civilization," end quote. On this secret of civilization, Du Bois unpacks the ideas of race, racist, and racism. In the past 4 years, UDC students have witnessed a real backlash of racist comments, ideologies, beliefs, and actions, which are entrenched in pseudoscientific racist thought. Students, your past 4 years, you have witnessed a very real partisan divide in the fundamental American values we espouse, as written in Samuel Francis Smith's song, America. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Where is the freedom Americans sing so proudly about when on May 11, 2018, a 65-year-old elderly black woman was dragged out of her car by a white police officer for refusing to sign a ticket during a traffic stop? The attending officer said she was under arrest for not complying with Georgia law. She refused to obey the officer's order to step out of her car, stating, "I want to wait for the supervisor." The dash cam shows that one of the backup officers can be heard on the video yelling, "You're not in charge, shut the blank up and get out of the car." Officer James Legg, who was identified as the officer who used the vulgar language, interjected himself into the situation using language and tactics that were inappropriate, even inflammatory, towards the 65-year-old grandmother, Rose Campbell, who was affectionately known as Mama Rose. If it were not for the dash cam, Officer James Legg may not have been investigated and forced to resign from the Alpharetta Police Department. Where are the justice, the civility, and the respect? Students, in the past 4 years, you have witnessed the highest levels of leadership in our democracy refer to Mexican immigrants as rapists who are bringing crime and drugs into our country. You have witnessed a call for a ban on Muslims coming into the United States. You have witnessed a U.S. female senator be referred to as Pocahontas. You have witnessed statements suggesting people who came to the United States from Haiti, quote, all have AIDS, and people who came to the United States from Nigeria, quote, would never go back to their huts once they saw America. And you have witnessed white supremacists converge on the campus of the University of Virginia in Charlottesville in August 2017, to which leadership responded, quote, many sides and both sides were to blame for the violence and chaos that ensued. The idea that white supremacist protesters were morally equivalent to counter-protesters who stood against racism in Charlottesville is sufficient evidence that the construct of freedom in this democracy is not free and is questionable. More importantly, the rhetoric that we live in a post-racial society because we elected a two-term black president is further questionable. I would ask you, if you believe in the construct of post-racial, how can we be in a post-racial or colorblind America where race and color are ever present in the American conscience? The evidence is clear. Say her name, Breonna Taylor, killed by police in her bed on March 13th, 2020. Tatiana Jefferson, killed by police on October 12, 2019. Charlena Siobhan Lyles, killed by police on June 18, 2017. And Corrine Gaines, killed by police on August 1, 2016. In 1903, Du Bois wrote in The Souls of Black Folk, quote, "For the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line," end quote. This was a prophetic statement setting out to show his reader the strange meaning of being black in the dawning of the 20th century. Du Bois explains the meaning of the emancipation and its effect and his views on the role of leaders of this race. At the end of 2020, we are still faced with ideas interrogated by one of the greatest black minds ever and reckoning that his prophetic statement still holds in the 21st century. The concept of the color line refers to the role of race and racism in history and society. Du Bois contests the questions of race, racial domination, and racial exploitation. Whatever we do as a university, we owe it to our students to equip them with the knowledge, foundational skills, and training in critical race theory so they can combat, develop, and find plausible solutions and defensible answers against racism, and to write a new chapter and meaning to these words, "My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing." In an era where there seem to be fewer and fewer champions for the critical role played by higher education in our democracy, we must not doubt the importance of bridges that we build. When we are called upon as institutions, as we often are currently, to explain what we do in higher education, ready-made answers for the soundbite are sometimes challenging to come by. We must ensure our teaching and praxis prepares UDC graduates to exit the university with skills as a critical thinker, effective communicator, and culturally competent human being who has been prepared for a world that they will both inherit and will pass on to future generations. Their education, their power to be vocal, their ability to organize and protest peacefully and intelligently, their vote at the ballot box in every election, local, state, and national, will help create the change we all want and need to see in this next election and beyond. Southern American poet Will Allen Drumgool's The Bridge Builder tells the story of an old man traveling on a journey, lonely and long. He reaches past a vast, deep chasm, crossing its depth in the growing cold of the evening. He reaches the other side and begins immediately to build a bridge on spanning the gap that he has crossed. He is questioned by a fellow pilgrim who suggests that he's wasting his time and strength building a bridge upon a path he's already crossed, especially given his advanced years and that he'll likely never come this way again. The poet offers the following rebuttal. An old man going along highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fear for him, but he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said fellow pilgrim near, you are wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You never again will pass this way. You've crossed the chasm, deep and wide. Why build this bridge at evening tide? The builder lifted his old gray head. He said, good friend, in the path I have come, he said, for there followed after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that has been as naught to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building this bridge for him. The function of a university, of the District of Columbia's education, is to give students the tools they need to build bridges, the tools of critical analysis and reasoning so that they may genuinely name and understand their social and political realities, the tools of critical thinking and writing so they may communicate that understanding to others, the tools of research and experimentation so that they may know how to approach the learning not of one vocation, but instead of the many new vocations and careers that will make up and engage life in this new technologically advanced world. And the tool of human understanding and empathy so that they may know where and how their choices and work in life impact the lives of others. As you embark upon new journeys in this new academic year, remember to build bridges for those coming behind you. Build bridges for those who could not continue otherwise. Build bridges to connect common understanding with new knowledge. Build bridges to foster more excellent communication and real understanding between peoples from disparate groups and backgrounds, and build bridges to make previously unimagined journeys possible. With the insights of a world-class UDC education, let not the naysayers and the short-sighted pilgrims along your roads keep you from building your bridges as you go. As you work towards change in your own life and the world, may you draw inspiration, as I often have, from the words of Pulitzer Prize winner and poet laureate Gwendolyn Brooks. Quote, "We are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond," end quote. As you harvest with family and friends, love each other. As you apply and interview for internships, apprenticeships, and jobs in this COVID era, or occupy the company of others unknown to you, always remember, good speech, well spoken, will open more doors for you than a college degree. Bad speech will close doors that you never knew existed. As you observe leaders in your life, always remember that when you follow a true and authentic leader, you are inspired to lead in truth and with authenticity. When you feel down and out, perplexed about what to do next, or broken like the brown or black Crayola crayon, I want you to remind yourselves that broken crayons still color. In the spirit of symbolism of the Firebird, we rise. In closing, I say, you may write us down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trot us in the very dirt, but still like dust we'll rise. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still we'll rise. You may shoot us with your words, you may cut us with your eyes, you may kill us with your hatefulness, but still like air we'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, we rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain, we rise. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, we rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, we rise. Bringing the gifts of our ancestors bringing the gifts that our ancestors gave. We are the dream and the hope of the slave. UDC, we rise, we rise, we rise.
Thank you, Dr. Potter. Good morning. I am Avis Russell, General Counsel for the University of the District of Columbia and a member of the President's Executive Cabinet. President Mason, it is my pleasure and privilege to present the award recipients for the 2020 President's Executive Cabinet Initiative to recognize and reward faculty excellence in teaching, scholarly, creative works, service, and external funding. Honorees, please come forward when I call your name to receive your award. The faculty member recognized for excellence in teaching was selected based on the following criteria: intellectually demanding and rigorous, is thought-provoking and intellectually stimulating, relates course material to other fields, contemporary issues, and student experiences. Deeply committed to teaching and students, is enthusiastic about teaching, is conscientious, organized, and well-prepared for class, is concerned about individual students and their development, is readily available to students, communication with students and relaying of course content, provides clear expectations, relevant assignments, and ample feedback, presents material clearly, asks good questions, and adjusts strategies as necessary to facilitate understanding, engages students and stimulates participation, is open-minded, fair, and respectful of differences among students, has a positive and lasting impact on students, inspires students to excel, promotes critical reading, thinking, and writing, produces more learning than in other courses, affects students' educational and career goals and achievements. We are pleased to recognize Dr. Benson George Cook, Professor, Counseling and Psychology in the College of Arts and Sciences for faculty excellence in teaching. The faculty member recognized for excellence in scholarly and/or creative works was selected based on the following criteria: contributions to the fields of knowledge within their expertise. Scholarship and creative works are manifested in many ways. For example, by research, paper presentations, publications, editorships, creative performance and exhibitions, and by continued study in the discipline. Scholarship can take many forms. It includes, for example, articles in journals, research monographs, scholarly books, review of books and other literature, services as a member of a team of experts, professional services on chapters and larger works, papers presented at academic meetings, and published instructional materials. In addition to traditional written works, creative works may encompass, in particular disciplines such as expressions as stage productions, musical performances, musical compositions, curatorial and museum projects, directing, conducting, art exhibitions, mathematical and scientific formulas, technical demonstration projects, and software creation. We are pleased to recognize Dr. Kate Klein, Associate Professor and Department Chair of Mechanical Engineering in the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, for faculty excellence in scholarly and/or creative works. The faculty member recognized for excellence in service was selected based on the following criteria: service to the department, division, unit. Both ad hoc and formal activities are routinely expected of all faculty within a department. Ad hoc activities may include such duties as being available for interviews with prospective students and their parents, being available to alumni, and working at recruitment programs and registration. Formal activities include, but are not limited to, participation in scheduled department, division, or unit meetings, and participation on department, division, or unit committees. Service to the college, school, unit, or university. All faculty are expected to attend commencement, formal convocations of the university, and scheduled all-college faculty meetings. The standing committees of the college, school, unit, and university faculty elected committees are an essential part of faculty responsibility, and availability for service on these committees is pivotal to college, school, unit, and university governance. Service to the profession. Service to the profession is pivotal to practice. Professional services include, for example, holding office in a professional organization, refereeing grant proposals for an external agency, or professional service in community agencies or organizations. Nominees must be active participants who contribute willingly and not merely attend meetings without active participation. We are pleased to recognize Professor Michael Fitzgerald, Associate Professor of Library Science in the Learning Resource Division, for faculty excellence in service. The faculty member recognized for excellence in external funding was elected based on the following criteria: contributions to the fields of knowledge within their expertise through seeking external funding. Faculty researchers produce high-quality, competitive research and external funding that exemplifies and advances UDC's research and scholarship mission. Faculty researchers distinguish themselves through externally funded research and scholarly activity, advancing UDC's research and scholarship mission, significantly impacting their field of study and leading to extraordinary scholarships and/or notable research findings. This activity can consist of a body of work performed throughout one seminal project. Faculty researchers have succeeded in obtaining and sustaining extramural funding, establishing extramural research, partnerships, collaborations, consortia, technology transfer activity, publication in top-tier journals, authorship of high-quality books or other scholarly works, honorary awards, distinguished fellowships. We are pleased to recognize Dr. Pawan Tianji, Professor of Mechanical Engineering in the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences.
I don't watch the late news as often as I used to. Disasters made by man or made worse by man, obscene wealth and abject poverty, violence of all sorts, pandemic, incompetence and evil in the highest of places. It can be a bit overwhelming right before going to bed. So instead, I end the day counting my blessings. I have my health and my family, two of whom are Black sons who have survived into their 20s and 30s. I have a mother who is still a delight at the age of 92. I'm able to work while so many others are jobless because of the virus. I have colleagues, Team UDC, who I trust and rely on and who never disappoint. It is also a blessing that we continue to make progress on salaries, on technology, on research, and on remote instructional delivery. What I am most grateful for, though, is the fact that things made worse by human beings can also be made better by human beings. And we are in the business of building better human beings. Every class, every conversation, every idea discovered or question that challenges an idea is an opportunity to learn not only who we are as individuals, but who we have the potential to be. Our responsibility is to enable our students to discover that we are all indeed created equal, that their potential is unlimited, and that they are members of one human race that in turn is part of creation. The world that we are handing off to the next generations is fraught with challenges. We will therefore give them the tools they need to overcome: clear vision, critical minds, the power of words, and the ultimate weapon in the fight for the future: truth. Our cause is worthy and we are up to the task. We have a plan, the equity imperative. It is just as relevant in the virtual world as it is face-to-face. We have an outstanding team. Thank you all, essential workers, faculty, staff, students. You step up each and every time you are called on and serve with a willing heart. I'll close by reminding you of the RISE site on the homepage, which has everything you need to know about how to make this a great semester. RISE is an acronym for Responding with Institutional Success and Excellence. If we continue to show up, get better every day, and focus on the students we serve, I have no doubt that we Firebirds will certainly rise. We would like to acknowledge and thank our trustees for their support and advocacy on behalf of the University of the District of Columbia. We acknowledge the hard work of our dedicated faculty and staff who have gone above and beyond to prepare a new academic year to welcome new and returning students and faculty colleagues for another exciting year, and for their commitment to excellence in teaching, scholarly creative work, service, and external funding. We are thankful to the alumni, friends, and supporters of the university who have made contributions to the many campaigns we have going in support of our students and our strategic plan. We are grateful for the continued support of Mayor Muriel Bowser, Chairman Mendelson, and District Council members. Thank you to the members of the President's Executive Cabinet for their financial support of these awards today and for being thought partners in leading our university. Finally, thank you to all of our virtual presenters, General Counsel Russell and the Reverend Dr. Wade, for being present and blessing us today. And thank you, UDC Chorale, for the virtual music. Thank you, Ed Jones, Lee Bryan Reba, Jay Morrow, Maceo Jones, and Project Productions, the Washington Convention Center, and Dr. Lawrence Potter for leading, planning, and executing today's virtual fall opening convocation. Please welcome the Reverend Aaron Wade to offer benediction, followed by our alma mater.
Let us all stand for the benediction. Let us posture ourselves before the divine. We thank you for the opportunity to gather, to celebrate the work of these great faculty. We thank you for the call of this convocation to rise up. We ask God that it permeates our hearts and our minds, that it challenges us and calls us to bring forth our best efforts to create change in this world. God, we thank you for the University of the District of Columbia and the great work that it will do to equip and empower leaders for this nation, this district, and this world. We ask now, Lord, that we go into this place, into the world, and live out the truths of bringing social justice, bringing about light and hope and love to this world. We thank you and we bless you. Now let justice roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Amen.